This is the Nomadic Traveler Podcast. Welcome to Nomadic Traveler Podcast. I'm your host, Jason, and our lovely and wonderful co-host is here as always, Miss Nicole.
Hey guys, what's up?
What up? How you doing today?
Fabulous. How are you?
Did you have to think about it a little bit? Good, I guess.
I mean, it's Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. 2 for Tuesday. Well, not really, because we don't have 2.
It's Taco Tuesday.
It's Taco Tuesday. That's a little better. All right. What's our episode about today?
It's about a well-planned trip.
I was going to say well-planned train wreck. Train wreck!
That went fabulous.
This episode's called The Blunder Down Under, and it is about a mess of a trip that we had. So we're going to have a little advice for you if you're thinking about, if you're itching to get out there and you're thinking, forget Corona, I'm going to go out there and take a little trip. You might want to reconsider.
Yeah, and I think it's always fun to hear the tragedies of others. That way you don't do it yourself.
This is definitely a tragedy. So this whole episode should be called Don't Do That. Just the whole Don't Do That episode.
This is the Jason and Nicole Don't Do That.
The whole Don't Do That, yeah.
I love it.
All right, coming up next, The Blunder Down Under. All right, here we go. So the Blunder Down Under takes place down in a wonderful city that you guys might all know. It's called Bowling Green, Kentucky, or I like to call it Butt Crack, Kentucky. There goes all our listeners. I can hear them actually leaving. I can hear them.
You know, everybody's out there's like mouth is just gaping wide at that. Like, what? They got to go there?
So yeah, we got to go there all right, but it was a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah.
I would like to say, I suppose.
I think, sometimes you just get the travel itch. I know you guys are probably feeling it out there.
Well, and we especially feel the responsibility to travel and bring you new and exciting things because, well, we have a travel show. So we can't exactly bring you nothing new. And since we're not traveling and most people we know are not traveling right now, it's makes it slightly more challenging to bring you a travel show.
Okay, but maybe we should talk about how it started out. So it started out really simple.
Okay, how did it start out?
I was just like, you know what? Let's go canoeing.
Yes.
That's a simple thing.
Very simple request. We thought, this won't be that bad. We can do social distancing. If you go canoeing, it's not like you're going to be right on top of anybody else.
Yeah.
So we could take the camper. You could take the dog in the camper, so we don't have to worry about a dog sitter or anything like that. It was a weekend. Both of us did not have children, so we didn't have to worry about babysitters. So we thought, you know what? Keep it simple. Mm-hmm. Let's go canoeing.
It's inexpensive. However, how many other people thought of that idea?
Obviously, everybody. So the canoeing place that we wanted to go to was completely sold out of reservations. So they're doing social distancing, and they're doing limited number of trips. So I don't know what they're doing. They must be spacing people out on their buses, or I'm not sure what's going on. Mm-hmm. But either way, they were completely sold out. So we tried to book it more than a week out. Didn't work out.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking you might want to try to do something like this, that's our first tip of the show.
Yes. Write this down.
Do it at least double in advance of what you think you need to do. So ours did not work out probably about 10 days in advance. So I would say call them like a month in advance if you really think that you want to try to do something.
Even if it's an activity that you're like, no one else loves to do this, only I love to do it, someone's doing it.
Everybody loves to do everything right now during Corona because there are so many things that you cannot do. So the simple things in life are the things out there that are getting the most play. I mean, hell, people are attending drive-in movies again.
Which is kind of cool if you think about it.
I think it's super cool.
But also, get out of my way. This is my zone.
This is my thing. I like driving movies when they were out of style.
No, but yeah, I love that people are actually getting outdoors. Is kind of nice. But
it is cool, yeah.
But watch yourself.
The state parks are slam jammed. I mean, everything it's happening.
Yeah.
So because of that, we were like, okay, we're going to come up with a plan B. So we're like, what else could we do? So we kind of looked around. What was that first place we came up with? Where the tour through the cave in the water. Where was that?
Hold on.
Do you remember?
It was in Kentucky.
So we came up with another place that was in Kentucky, and you looking it up?
Yeah.
Okay. And it has a canoe boat ride type thing where you can either do kayaks or canoes, I think. Some of them have clear bottoms, and you're like guided through an old mine where it has a natural spring in it, and it's naturally half flooded. So you float through with little miner's lamps on, and you go through like a cave on a canoe. So it ended up being a little further than we had at first anticipated. Again, we were basically trying to keep things simple, low cost, easy. So it was a little further than we wanted to go. I think it was like ended up being 5 hours away from where we were at or something, which is a little more than what we were wanting to do for our basic trip.
Yeah, it's called the Gorge Underground.
Yeah.
So it is the only underground canoeing that you can do.
Yeah.
And it's in Rogers, Kentucky.
Yeah.
So a little bit farther out, but something that would have been awesome. And you don't get burnt in a cave.
Yeah, right? So you're not going to get that sunburn out there.
So they also have like boat tours, just regular boat tours if you don't like kayaking or canoeing. And then they have like a paddle board where you can kind of stand on the paddle board to do it too.
That'd be cool too, yeah.
Yeah. So that would have been fun.
So it would have been fun, but it was a little further than we wanted to go with our camper. We have a rather large camper, and it uses quite a bit of gas to tow, and we didn't want to burn up quite that much gas just to go to Rogers, Kentucky. No offense to Rogers, Kentucky.
However, after what we did do, it probably would have been cheaper.
After what we did do, we should have done that. But, you live and learn.
Yeah.
So, phase 3 of the plan. So we looked around. We found Mammoth Cave. So I kind of thought, hey, I went to Mammoth Cave when I was real young. I haven't been for a long time. It'd be kind of cool to go check out Mammoth Cave. Mm-hmm. So Nicole wanted to go. She thought that she had been there before. Turns out she had not.
You'd been to some other random cave.
She'd been to some other caves around, not Mammoth Cave, not the cave.
Yeah.
So, and then I've been back and forth. I'm from Indianapolis, and that's where the show is taped. And so we go from Indianapolis to Florida. We've been back and forth several times since we've known each other. I've been back and forth a million times in my life because I've been that route with my family. I've been that route with friends to go down for beach vacations. So I've been back and forth from Indiana to Florida, I don't know, several dozen times probably. So anyway, so I drove by the National Corvette Museum a million different times. I always say, I'm going to stop at the National Corvette Museum when I drive by. But every time I'm driving by, I'm in a hurry to get down there. Every time I'm coming back, I got to get back because I got to get back to work and we got to get unpacked and stuff like that. So I never stop. So I've probably literally driven by it 36 times or something.
And didn't you say you stayed at the hotel like right by it?
And then it turns out, I did even stay at the hotel right by it one time, and I still didn't go.
Yeah.
So we decided, hey, you know what? We'll go to the National Corvette Museum, and we'll go to Mammoth Cave. So we'll make a little weekend out of it, weekend trip down there. Let's go down there, check it out.
I always love doing anything I've never done.
Correct.
So I was down.
We thought it'd be something just fun to do, and then we thought, well, we'll make a little show out of it, and we'll tell everybody about Mammoth Cave, and if you're trying to do something small, just to get out like that, maybe it'll fit your, needs. Mm-hmm. We're going to tell you why it doesn't,
or why it didn't for us.
Why it didn't for us, at least, yeah. So we got there the first day. We drove in late on like a Friday, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was Friday.
Was it Friday or was it Thursday?
Anyways. Yeah, Friday.
Do you remember? Was it Friday?
It was Friday. We stayed Friday night and Saturday night.
Yes, we did. Yeah. So we went in Friday night. For some reason, I was thinking we went in on Thursday.
We're trying to block this out of our mind. It was so terrible.
Right. So we get there on Friday night. We check into the hotel. We're like, okay, we're going to go get something to eat. We start driving down the strip in... oh, wait. No, I guess we should tell them about the ants. I forgot about the ants.
Oh, gosh.
So we get there, and somehow my truck is infested with ants. Never had this happen before in my whole entire life. So tip number 1, don't park on top of an ant colony, I guess. I don't know what I did. So truck's all full of ants. Can't figure out what the hell's going on. So we decided, well, we need to go somewhere and try to find some kind of ant spray so I can spray for the ants. So we go driving around up and down the strip trying to find a place. We finally found a Home Depot or Lowe's?
Lowe's, yeah.
And we finally went to a Lowe's, and luckily we were able to get some ant spray. So I sprayed my door jambs and everything, and up underneath my hood, and Tried to kind of chase him out of my truck. It ended up working after all, but we still had ants in the truck all weekend long. So,
Well, and that night was supposed to be just like relaxing, like going to the pool and going to dinner and like nothing doing
nothing
anything that
special.
night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So first of all, no pool.
No pool.
No pool.
Pool was not open.
So we should have looked into that as well because of Corona. There is no pool.
Yes.
So we could not go swimming. So we thought, well, we'll make the best of it. We'll at least go get something to eat. We'll go catch a restaurant or something like that. Hold on. My son is downstairs playing Xbox and he's being very loud. So we thought, well, we'll go get something nice to eat. So we go driving down the strip in Bowling Green, Kentucky. And I don't know if they just got off Corona there or what just happened or got off a lockdown, not off of Corona, off a lockdown. But it was freaking packed. Everybody's out with their convertibles and their hot rods. You go drive by the restaurants. The restaurants have standing people all over the place outside. Everybody's out going to dinner, I guess.
Some people were just driving up and down the strip.
There was literally people just cruising the strip.
Yeah, it was insane.
So I don't know if that's like the thing to do. I'm not from Bowling Green, Kentucky. I don't know anything about it. If you know anything about it, feel free to send us an email at nomadictravelerpodcast@gmail.com and explain to us why everybody was just out rolling. But I thought maybe it's just because everybody just got off a lockdown and they're just dying to get out of the house.
Right, yeah.
So we waited, an hour and a half or something for dinner?
Yes.
It was a very long time to finally get some dinner. We ended up playing two places against each other. So we took out reservations at two different places, and then whichever one came up first is where we went. So we ended up going to, Ruby Tuesdays?
No.
Yeah, we did. Wasn't that what it was?
We went to O'Charlie's.
Oh, Charlie's. That's
Yeah.
right, yes. Sorry about that.
Missed their rolls.
So, so we got some more Charlie's rolls. So the food was not great.
Mediocre.
At all. Yeah.
At best.
It was very mediocre at best. The place was it was spread out, but it was still just kind of weird and awkward. You definitely kind of get that feeling like, you think you're just dying to get out. Like, I just want to go out and have a dinner somewhere. It's going to be so nice. Then you go out and everything just kind of feels a little awkward.
A little weird.
Like
everyone knows they're not supposed to be
there.
there.
And it reminds you that you shouldn't be out.
Right. You're like, okay.
So,
it's like you're a kid getting your hand slapped.
Right.
A little bit like, batty.
So after that, we went back and stayed in the hotel. Couldn't go swimming. Watched a movie.
Well, speaking of the movie, so we had to get the cord.
Yes, we wanted to watch a movie off of, what was it, Hulu?
Yeah.
So we had to go get the cord so you could plug your cord into the television from your iPhone. We have that cord, but we didn't bring it with us. So, and there was no movie channels at the hotel, so.
So another expense,
another going back out, tried to go to Best Buy. Best Buy was closed. So we had to drive around aimlessly. We went to, 3 different places?
Yeah.
Yeah, Target, Best Buy, then Target, then Walmart. Oh, no, Best Buy, then Walmart, then Target. And Target finally had it. Thank you, Target.
Yeah.
So we were finally able to get our cord, went back, watched our show. So lackluster first day.
We should have known then. That was like 7 red flags.
Right.
We should have packed up.
Wasn't exactly the relaxing experience we were expecting. So go back to the hotel, hang out, enjoy ourselves, get up the next day, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, ready to hit it. So first we go to the National Corvette Museum.
It was amazing. I thought it was a highlight of the trip. I did love it.
It was actually pretty good. It was busy, but it was not so overly busy that you felt uncomfortable. Everybody was very respectful. Everybody stayed more than 6 feet away from each other. It was a pretty nice time. They've got a lot of good setups there. They got the first Corvette, or the second Corvette, I guess. What was kind of cool. So the first Corvette, I guess, was like a prototype or something like that, and they went out there and like kind of beat the crap out of it. And then I think they kind of dissected it afterwards, so there was no car left. So the very second one off the line is the one that they consider like the first Corvette, and that's there.
Yeah, and for those listeners out there that are like, man, I don't know what a Corvette is, or like, I'm not interested in that. I knew nothing of it, and it was very interesting to me.
It's a cool place.
So you would love it, even if it's not your thing.
They got a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool stuff about racing history, about the racing pedigree of Corvettes.
Yeah.
The 24-hour Le Mans. What else they have? You got a bunch of stuff written down.
Yeah, so we went early. So I think that's part of the reason why the crowds were so low, because it seemed like some people were packing in when we were
it was
leaving.
getting busier as we were leaving, yeah.
But yeah, so they're open like 8 to 5, and there's like different things. You can drive like a Corvette simulator, which would be cool.
Yeah. I want to do that, but I think it was closed at the time, wasn't it?
It was closed when we first got there. We were leaving.
It was open.
Yeah. But Jason said no.
Well, there was a bunch of little kids in line waiting
I know.
for
He's
it.
like, that's for little kids. And I was like, I know.
Nicole
anyway.
qualifies as a little kid.
Some days.
At heart.
So yeah, so you can do that. There's also like go-karts that you can ride there. Probably my favorite part is, so if you guys don't know, in 2014, the museum is built on over a cave. And
They didn't know that, though.
They didn't know that, yeah. And so
they did ground penetrating radar that went down 30 foot to check and make sure there wasn't something below it. And the cave is like 60 feet down or something. Mm-hmm. Is that what it was? 45 to 60 foot down?
Yeah.
Anyways, it was past where the ground penetrating radar could read. So they didn't realize they built this whole facility over a cave system. And a huge sinkhole opened up. There's a huge building there. You can see it from the interstate. When you drive by on 65, you can see this cone-shaped building. It's yellow. And inside the middle of the cone-shaped building, a huge sinkhole opened up and swallowed up 7 priceless Corvettes.
And it's so cool the way they have it set up, because they have like little simulations. You can watch like the video of it happening, like the security footage.
Yeah.
They also have like a simulation that's like lasers that come down and like make a simulation on the floor where you see it happening live, like in front of you. And then on the ground, they have it outlined on the ground where it actually happened, which is pretty cool. And then how many cars did they have?
There was 7 of them fell down in there, and they were able to recover all 7 of them. One of them was completely redone, so everything is fixed on it. So it's still in new condition.
Yeah.
And all the rest of them are all kind of crushed.
And you get to see it.
They have all like the dirt, the red clay from Kentucky red clay all over them. And it's kind of neat, man. And one of them is especially just mangled.
Yeah.
And they said that like a 6-ton boulder or something was sitting on top of it. So it was really pretty neat. And then they got a whole bunch of other cars in there that you can check out, modified Corvettes. They've got the C1 Corvette all the way through the C8. So they got so whatever you like, if you like the old school stuff or if you like the new stuff, they got several different C8s in there. So if you want to check out the brand new mid-engine Corvette that they just came out with. All the Corvettes up until now have been front-engine Corvettes. This one is a rear-engine Corvette. Very first one. Looks like a Ferrari. Total badass.
Jason wants one.
Yes.
The thing that I thought was really cool about it is they have, like, in the big showroom, they have all the series lined up. So 1 through 8, 1 car of each.
Yeah.
And you can go through and you can see all the modifications that they changed and how quickly.
And the gentle progression,
Yeah. I don't know why that was kind of interesting to me. And the other thing that was cool at the sinkhole, there's a spot where you can look down into the sinkhole. It's like a clear spot on the ground.
Yeah.
And you can still see like 30 feet down into the ground, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. So, and I think they can go down there and check and make sure no new activity is happening or something.
Yeah.
So, but they literally kind of filled it in. They have a video of them filling it in. So they brought in like tons and tons and tons of sand, I think is what they used. And they just kind of filled it all in. They pack it down, fill it in, pack it down, fill it in, pack it down. They built it all the way up, and then they put a new floor in.
Yeah, we were talking about how crazy it would be if you had been planning to go that day.
Right.
And you're like, whoa, lucked out.
So this happened at 6 o'clock in the morning. So they were, or 7 o'clock.
I think it was 6 because they opened at 8.
They opened at 8, and a cleaning crew was scheduled to be in there to wipe the cars all down at 7.
Yeah.
So it happened when nobody was in the place. Nobody got hurt. But if you would have been in there cleaning the cars and then that would have opened up, it was pretty fast. And you would have straight down in there. And so they had people in there the day before. So you could have been in the museum checking things out, walking around on that floor the day before. No idea. Next day opens up. So it's a miracle that nobody was injured. So
for sure. They also have like a kids zone, which was not open due to Corona.
It was not open due to Corona, but it looked very cool.
There was a lot of like hands-on things that they could do. The kiddos could do. There's also like a cafe there that you can get food at. They serve like breakfast, lunch, and then like desserts and things like that.
Kind of like a 50 style cafe, isn't it?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's $12 for adults, $7 for 5 and down
For the museum, right?
Yeah, for the museum, and then 4 and below are free.
Yeah.
So
it's pretty reasonable, honestly.
Yeah, inexpensive and really cool, actually. Very.
I
cool.
thought it was worth the money. So there's a lot of little things out there that are kind of roadside attractions that are, $25, $30, $35, and they're not really that great. So I thought this is well worth the money to me.
I'd say we spent, like 3 hours? 2.5 maybe?
They say that you can do the whole thing in, about an hour, but somehow we took 3.
I don't know. There's just a lot of information there.
They got a lot of little placards and stuff. So if you go through and you actually read everything, you could probably honestly spend 5 or 6 if you really, really wanted to. And it was really your thing. And
then at the end, they had, what was that exhibit called? They had like all these cars. This man, Ed.
Oh,
what was it?
Ed Roth, I think. Wasn't it Ed Roth?
I'm not sure. But it's like this guy who makes cars that are not really for driving. They're just kind of designed in a weird, crazy way. Yeah. And there's a little, like, you walk through this path and you get to see all these cool cars that are like, maybe not street legal. But
yeah, Ed Big Daddy Roth, that's who it was.
Yeah, so those
So he makes,
cool too.
They look like Hot Wheels.
Yeah,
so they look like, pick like the strangest looking Hot Wheel that your kid has, and he makes cars that are real that look like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're pretty cool.
So, yeah, that was pretty neat. I don't know how long that's going to be there. I'm assuming that's a rotating exhibit there. So it could be there when you hear this. It could not be. I'm not sure about that.
Yeah. And then the coolest thing ever is you can try to win a Corvette for only $10.
$10.
Yeah. I know. We should have done it.
And it was a C8. We did not sign up. I have no idea why. Somehow I missed that. I think Nicole, put blinders on me, so I didn't spend money on that.
I think we're on the way to our next destination. Yeah. Because I was pretty excited about it.
I would have signed up for a C8 for $10. I think that would have been worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if you could still do it online.
We might be able to. We're going to
check that out. Yeah.
If you haven't seen a C8, you need to go check that thing out because it's unbelievable.
Yeah. So it's $10 for one entry in the raffle to win.
Yep.
I can't remember. I think they said they do them every month. Was that it? Or every
I don't remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Something like that.
They also have a nice gift shop there that has tons and tons of Corvette related gear. The gift shop is actually pretty large for a place like that. So, I mean, if you love Corvettes, go there, check it out. They also have a VIP tour that you can do where I think it was, $400?
It's $400, yeah.
And they will take you over to the assembly plant. It's basically right next door, and it's where they assemble Corvettes. And I do know that if you buy a brand new Corvette, you can have it delivered to the museum, and you can go to the museum and pick it up. And I think they do some kind of little ceremony for you or something like that. So... So if you got the money and you got the cojones and you want to buy a C8, then have it delivered at the National Corvette Museum.
Then take us in a ride.
And then take Nicole on a ride.
Just pop on into Indiana.
Just pop on up.
Just drive on up.
Up to Indy.
Add a little miles to a Corvette.
Yeah.
But overall, it was a really cool experience.
It was pretty fun. So that was kind of the redeeming factor to this whole trip.
Yeah.
So then after that, we're like, all right, now it's time to go to Mammoth Cave.
Yeah.
So we're kind of looking forward to it. So we thought Mammoth Cave would be open a little later, but it turns out it also closes at 5. So we probably could have done either one.
Yeah.
I thought maybe the park over there would be open maybe till dusk or something is kind of what I was expecting. So I thought, it'll probably be open a little bit later. So maybe we should knock that out in the morning, and then we'll have plenty of time to do the Mammoth Cave in the afternoon.
Yeah. And I think the other thing we have to point out here too is the dog. So we had the dog with us. So he
stayed at the hotel though.
He had the best end of the deal. So we had the dog with us, so you can't, obviously we couldn't have gone on Sunday to check out because we had to check out early and he would have had to sit in the car. And I wonder if any of you out there have any tips for us or for your fellow travelers of how you travel best with your dog.
Yeah.
As far as checkout times and trying to do something on that last day.
And no doggies allowed into Mammoth Cave.
Yeah, so. No dogs in the cave.
They did say that because I did ask.
But that was something that is a travel issue that we could talk about as well. It'd be cool to kind of hear how you guys get out of that loophole.
Yeah.
Because it was we kind of had to do it on the middle day. Because we couldn't do it the day we got there. It was too late. We couldn't do it the day we leave because we have the dog. So
So anyways, so we leave the Corvette
yeah.
Museum, drive over to Mammoth Cave. We're driving through some beautiful country. You got to drive quite a bit through that national park over there. Is it national or state park? I don't know what it is.
National.
I think it is national park. So you wind through the park, and then you finally get to the visitor center for Mammoth Cave. It was packed. So people packed all the way to the back of the parking lot. Finally find a parking space. We walk all the way up to the front, and there's a big sign that say, "No more tickets for today."
I was so sad.
So the disappointing thing to us about that is we called ahead and we asked the people at Mammoth Cave, do we need to buy tickets in advance? And they said, no, we'll have plenty of tickets. We don't think it'll be a problem. Come on down. So we came on down and they were freaking sold out.
So sad.
So not cool, Mammoth Cave. Not cool at all.
So if you're going to a cave or anyone else,
don't listen to the dumbass that answers the phone.
Just do it.
Just say, no, we'd really like to buy tickets if we're going to drive there. I mean, maybe they thought we were locals. I guess they didn't know that we weren't locals, but even still, man. So we couldn't get in. We went and asked, what else could we do? They did have standby tickets, which I didn't fully understand what standby tickets were anyways, but they had standby tickets for like 3 p.m. or something the next day. Yeah. But then we would have had to check it out by then. We didn't have anything to do with the dog. So I was like, okay, well, we can't really do that. We drove down with the intention of going today.
Yeah. It's just insane, like, how many people would not be going to Mammoth Cave.
Well, and then it was like, I don't even know why they didn't have a sign, like, all the way at the front of the park or something like that. Because there's dozens and dozens and dozens of people just driving all the way in there, parking. And, like, even when we were walking out, there was just tons of people walking up with kids and strollers and, like, all kinds of stuff, just humping all their stuff up to the front just to find out. Nope.
Well, and then there was another cave on the way in, which I can't
think
remember
of what that one was
the
called
name
either.
of that one, but that does tours as well. That wasn't booked. We could have.
No, they were also booked.
Yeah.
Remember?
I thought maybe we could have done it, but we chose not to because, like, we were hungry.
No, I called them. They were booked. Well, no, they were booked till very late in the day. Yeah. So we were there at like 11 a.m. and I think they had like a 5 p.m. or 4:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it would have been just like sitting around with kind of nothing to do for the whole time.
And it was hot out.
So yeah, it was pretty warm out that day, and we were like, I don't know what we're gonna do. We didn't really, bring a cooler and plan on hiking outdoors. We planned on being in like a 55-degree cave. So
right.
we weren't equipped for it like I guess we should have been.
So, and just like we talk about in our shows, a lot of people say like their tip is just to go with the flow, right?
Go with the bunches.
So I will say, I think we did pretty, like, we were upset, but we did pretty good. And like,
I mean, it was a little bummer, yeah, but I was like, well, that's a good tip for everybody for the show.
And we joked about how, like, so we got back to the hotel and we were kind of like, why are we staying here? There's no pool. There's nothing to do. Like, let's just go back. And so we did, and we joked.
We were literally already past checkout too, so we literally paid for a day that we didn't use.
That we didn't even use because the bed wasn't the best or whatever. So we're like, well, why are we staying here? But we joked about how we spent the money that we spent on that night. We could have went on the tour,
on the VIP tour at the Corvette Museum,
because we joked about how expensive that was.
Well, by the time you paid for the hotel, then you paid for the going out to eat, and then you paid for the museum and the gas and all the driving around and everything. We could have very easily just drove down there, spent the $400 on the VIP tour, and then drove back the same day.
Which is crazy because, like, I think Corona's doing crazy things because we know this. Like, we know we shouldn't be taking these little trips. We should be, like,
no, we shouldn't
really investigating.
It just shows to me, though, how utterly desperate everybody else is, though, too. Because I don't think Mammoth Cave is a high-profile attraction by any means. I mean, it's been there for a long time. It's not like it's brand new or anything.
Yeah.
So, I just think there's a lot of people itching to go, and I would say, save your money. Honestly, is my opinion is save your money. Just write this summer off and just say, you know what? It is what it is. It's 1 year of my life. I'm going to wait until next year, and I'm going to get back out there, and I'm going to do some cool stuff next year. Yeah. Or if you just absolutely have to go and do something and you just can't stand being stuck inside anymore, call ahead. Make sure you educate yourself. Yeah. So, because everybody has new special rules out there, and you might find that you take the trip out there and you spend the money, and then you realize this wasn't all it was cracked up to be, and we could have just saved the money.
Yeah.
and not spend it. So
It'll be a funny story, but an expensive one. So
yeah,
and
I mean, it's not that expensive, but it's
No.
still just kind of,
Yeah,
it was just
it's a
a
waste.
stupid waste of money, you know?
Well, and I was thinking like one tip that I have that you could do is if you have to do something and you want to spend the money, then take your money and buy a toy that you might like so buy a four-wheeler, or buy like a pool for your backyard, or buy something that like you can use all summer, or you can start planning that trip that you want and start, like, if you want to go to Disney, buy the Disney gift cards or whatever, something so like you maybe can't plan exactly when you're going to go, but start putting that money towards that big trip that you want.
That was what my thought was. Is
You
I
know.
would double up all your money. So if you take a vacation every year, I would forego your vacation this year, and I would take something cool next year. Go to Hawaii, go to Alaska, go to Disney, go to Europe, go to
Yeah.
Australia, go somewhere that you wouldn't have likely have gone with the budget that you would have had. But if you double up your budget, now it opens up new venues to you that you wouldn't have had before. Plus, you never know what's going to happen with Corona. Things are on their way back up again now. So,
We don't know.
it might be smart to have a little cushion.
A little money.
A little
Yeah.
cushion in your budget. So if something
Yeah.
does go south, at least you're not in trouble and you're not losing your house or losing your car or having to go without food. That would suck.
Weight loss.
Weight Watchers.
And if you need to, like, if you're just dying, just keep planning. Like, planning can be one of the funnest parts of a trip.
Yeah.
Like, just sitting down on the computer and just getting excited and planning every aspect so that when you do get to do it, it will be the perfect trip.
What is it? Absence makes the heart grow fonder.
It sure does.
So I would put it off is what my advice is. But again, I understand we made the mistake, so I definitely understand if you want to make the mistake too. But I would definitely do your research and make sure you know for sure and you got your tickets in advance. And
Yeah.
I mean, for God's sake, if you guys are going to Florida, man,
Be careful.
please reconsider that. It just really seems like a bad idea. They got hospitals down there that are completely all booked up.
Yeah. Be careful.
And I'm saying it like it's a hotel too. They have no room. They have no beds left.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's getting pretty serious down there. So I mean,
Yeah.
it's
And-
your life, it's your family, it's your kids, it's your parents, it's your grandparents. You know, it's not just you. I think we can all take a little time off and work on that house,
And so
paint that bedroom that you've been waiting to paint,
right?
build that deck. Obviously, that's another story, but everybody's building decks, by the way.
And if you would, so like, since we're all missing out on travel, if you would post any of like your travel pictures on our page,
Yeah,
maybe we could put them into an album or send them to us in Messenger. We'll put them into an album
I
of,
think you can post stuff on our page.
you can, it would just be cool to have them like all in an area. So if somebody's like, man, I really miss travel, they could go here and see people's pictures of
I
different
wonder if
places
people
they've
can post.
traveled
Can
at.
people post to our page?
We'll have to check that
Yeah,
out.
we'll double
We
check
don't
that
know.
for you. We'll make sure.
But we'd love to see where you guys have traveled. We love to learn, and we love everybody else to hear about your stories too. Kind
Tell
of
us about your story. Email us at thematictravelerpodcast@gmail.com. Send us some pictures of any trip that you might have been taking.
Yeah.
And as always, we are looking for more guests.
Yes.
So if you think that you might have a good story, you might have something to talk about. We've had backpackers on there, budget campers, people that travel in buses, people that travel in vans, RVers. But we don't have anybody that, if you have a sailboat,
Yeah.
we would like to have you on the show.
We have a boat episode that might be coming out soon.
That's
trying
not a
to...
sailboat, though. That's motor yachting. But yes.
Yeah, boat.
So, but if you have any if you travel by boat and maybe that's how you get around and you've been doing some cool boating things, that'd be kind of something cool that we would mind having somebody on for. Or houseboating or, any of that kind of stuff. We really got, we need some people to come on and talk to us about some new forms of travel. So we're always looking for new guests and we love to have listeners on as guests.
I love to hear your story. And if you need more tips on the coronavirus and how you can stay sane, listen to our episode about what to do during the coronavirus.
Yeah, that's another good one.
Check that one out again. I'm going to re-listen to it to myself. That way I don't get the itch again. That way this weekend we're not going to Cincinnati.
We should listen to our own show. Yeah.
Right? So, yeah, check that episode out.
So if you remember, we had an episode where we went to Cincinnati and it was kind of the same thing. It was okay, but it was kind of, you just get so desperate to like, oh, let's just go out and do something. I can't stand being at home anymore. And
Right.
that time was in the middle of the winter and, you get kind of bored up here in the winter. But same thing, sit tight, learn from learn from our mistakes.
Well, and I think another aspect to point out is like, I think as parents, when you don't have your kids,
yeah,
and you always have your kids,
you're desperate to do
you're
something.
like, oh my gosh, I can
actually go
I
do
can
something.
explore the world,
Yeah.
you know? So don't get caught in that.
Yeah.
Explore your own couch by yourself when you're not getting climbed on for once.
There's things to do. Do another hobby.
Yeah.
The number one thing I recommend is go try to take some kind of online class. Go learn something. Go expand your brain and your horizons, and go figure out what could you do. Do you want to travel more? How can you go and travel and make money on the road?
Yeah. Excellent time to start researching and doing some of those things that our guests have been telling us about, like the online teaching or the pipeline walking or different things. Go research
Gate
that.
guarding. Yeah.
Gate guarding.
If you think that you might want to do like a mini retirement next summer, which would be an excellent time right now to be planning that mini retirement, and say you're going to take a couple of months off next summer and you're really going to go out and explore, this would be an excellent time to be training for that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's all we got for right now.
Yeah.
This episode's a little shorter than normal, but
Thanks for listening, guys.
yeah, thanks for coming and checking us out. As always, please send us your ideas. Yes.
Do you want to tell them about what was this? Where was it that we had all the listeners? So in the United States, we have all states except for South Dakota.
South Dakota, yes.
Yes.
So we have listeners in every single state except for South Dakota.
Come on, South Dakota.
We actually counted the other day, and I think we have almost 60 different countries right now.
Yeah.
So
we love you all.
Please share it with your neighbor countries. I don't know offhand which ones we're missing.
Neighbor countries.
We're missing a bunch of them in Africa.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if they have Wi-Fi readily available all over
in
Africa.
some of those places, yeah.
So, but we've got maybe five states in Africa. We got most of the UK.
A lot
Russia,
of Canada. Yeah.
I'm trying to think what we need. I don't know. So, if you,
anyways, I just wanted to say that we love it, and
yeah,
it's
we appreciate everybody.
So exciting to see it just grow.
Yeah. It really, it warms the heart to be able to look out there and see that we've had listens all over the world like that, because that's what we want to do. We want to share our passion for travel with everybody all over the world. And again, we've had lots of people on from all over the world. If you are in another country and you want to come on, we do Skype interviews so we can work around you. We've done interviews with people where it's, 6:00 in the morning or something like that, where it's convenient for them on their side of the world. So we'll do whatever we got to do to accommodate you and have a wonderful new guest on the show.
Get your story out there.
And make some new friends.
Yeah.
All right. That's all we got for right now. We'll see you next week.